Soundtrack to the love we make. Let your love flow and shower us. Let your love flow and shower us.
Okay. Peace and love, peace and love. That might be it. I don't know. I had to start the video over because the camera's doing something crazy with that color again. So yeah, we back. I don't know. We'll see. It is what it is now. So I was making this video because lately I have been very, very active with my studying and researching and understanding, gaining understanding. And and what I've been researching, I've been coming across some new people that are bringing forth information and knowledge, and it's just, man, y'all, for those of y'all that's into you know, like, and this ain't no thing, so please don't feel away if this isn't you. It doesn't make you less of a person or less valuable or less important. But for those people who like are very much into knowledge gaining, and you know, like, whoa, come on, Redbird, studying and because people study for different things. You might be in school, you know, so you might study for your classes in school, you know, and that's studying, you know, that's gaining knowledge. But kind of what I'm talking about now is kind of like, I've been more studying into our history as a people, you know, learning about our history on this land that is known as the United States of America. But, you know, digging into that and the history of that lately has been a thing for me. Understanding gang culture has been a thing for me lately, and it's probably to some people probably like, well, why would he be studying gang culture? Like, what? Milton is not a gang member. You know what I'm saying? Never, you know. I've had lots of friends who were gang affiliated, or, you know, I've met people that were members of gangs, but myself personally, I never chose that path. But lately I have been studying gang culture, gang histories, and like I said, I've also been studying the history of this land that we now are calling the United States of America. And through study and research, has led me to certain people and new people that I wasn't aware of. I'm learning new things. I'm hearing about new things that gives me an opportunity to go and do more research to see if I'm able to find this information that these people are speaking on. And as you know, with a lot of the things that I talk about in my videos, I always say that I never want y'all to just take what I say and say, oh, that's a fact because Milton said it. I always encourage y'all to do some research and see if you find truth in what I'm saying. So I've been excited because in all that I've been studying and researching lately, I'm finding that the knowledge and the information is definitely present. You know, the information is available. If you're interested in that, the information is here. There are plenty of people bringing forth information and knowledge right now. So we have the ability, we have access to gaining this knowledge and information to know about our history and to know about the current state that we're in, the current events of the world, the things that are happening all over the world. All of that has to do with our history, our true history. Like, and I'm sharing this with you now because 2 years ago I didn't know that. You know, I would have not have ever tied these things together to understand that the current conditions of the world, of the planet, right, of the earth, are all based on our history, or the secrets thereof, which ain't really secrets. Is some people who have tried to change it to keep us from connecting the dots. There are people who have altered it to keep us from connecting the dots. It's people that have, you know, separated us to keep us from connecting the dots. And you know, I've just been finding that in this time, the information is back. The information is present. The information is here. The information is available. The information is accessible. We just have to have some sort of desire to know this information. So I'll tell you what led me to seeking this information. I was feeling like, okay, I had been working jobs since the age, I think I got my first job at 14 or 15 in high school. I started working at Chick-fil-A in North Carolina. All right, at that time, man, you're not taking anything seriously. You know, I had two best boys that worked with me, you know, at Chick-fil-A, and you know, we had you know, things we would do together. Like, I mean, like, we were like the three amigos, like, always together. And you know, like, our checks were going towards going out to eat, buying Air Force Ones, buying this, buying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what our monies was spent on. Cell phone bill. Like, we didn't have like extreme responsibilities, you know, so it was just like a for fun job. And following that job, you know, I moved to Georgia. Well, I mean, I had a musician job at a church up there, but you know, I was still even a young musician in that. So even that, man, making that money was the same thing, going out to eat, you know, just little things like that. I moved to Georgia. I got a job. So, you know, my job then was kind of just, you know what I'm saying, buying myself nice things. I had, when I moved to Georgia, I moved in with my dad. So my dad gave me a bill, you know what I'm saying? You gonna pay this phone bill? You know, like, he gave me responsibility to take this trash out. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, you know, with my money now, I still buy myself nice things, but I got to make sure I'm setting money aside to pay this bill, you know. So that was like my first taste of responsibility. Then I ended up with a baby on the way. So then things got a little different, because now I got to make money, because I got to pay for daycare. I got to pay for baby formula. I gotta, you know what I'm saying, I gotta pay for diapers. I gotta pay for, you know, and still try to go out to eat, and still put gas in the car, and still, you know, all these things. And you know, as I got older, my responsibilities increased, and so my reason for working the job changed, and what I was able to do from the job's income changed. And so just, I'm 37 now, but through the years of working, it was like, it went from being a fun thing to being something that you really hated, but you had no choice. And so I finally got to a point where I felt like, man, this ain't even it right here. You know, like, man, this I can't see me doing this for the rest of my life, you know. And so I just started having thoughts on things, and, you know, like, I mean, there were other things that were happening too, but I'm just saying, as far as the job, you know, this is one of the things that led me to just started to do homework and research on understanding things, because I was just looking for other things to do, because I just didn't want to spend the rest of my life working a job, you know, but from that I began to hear new speakers and lecturers and gain new understanding and perspectives on the whole idea of working jobs for wages, and you know, understanding taxes, tax laws, where those originated from, you know, understanding the whole history of the slave ships, and, you know, the questions that are raised from that concept, or that idea of being able to bring that many people that far of a distance, dealing with that much waste. And you know, it was just one thing led to the next, pretty much, is what I'm getting at. And so, but, you know, everybody will have a different thing that led them to seeking information and knowledge. But, you know, like, these are some of the things that I was dealing with. I was just feeling like life, that this can't be the most that life has to offer. So I began, you know, my quest of just trying to find answers for my life and what I'm doing, and, you know, understanding God and understanding Christianity and the histories, and, you know, just one thing led to the next. It was never just like a blueprint that was laid out that I just followed. I just kind of went from one thing to the next, just always seeking to gain understanding and gain knowledge. And as I grew, my desire for knowledge grew, you know, to where now 37, it's like, you'll never catch me anywhere without a notepad, without a book, you know what I'm saying, without some type of something with me at all times, because I'm always just looking for new information, and I'm looking to understand something on a deeper level that I didn't understand it before. So, said all that to say this. Y'all, the information is present. The information is here. If you're interested in information, I don't ever want you to just take anything that I'm saying and just be like, oh yeah, Milton said it, so it's fact. That's not it. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, he got a nice little shiny coat. I mean, glitter coat. This dude got a real glitter coat. That what's up. But yeah, information is present. You know, information is here if you are seeking information. If you're seeking the knowledge is here. It just has to be a desire in you. When you get to a place that you feel like, man, something ain't right, or there's got to be more, you want more out of life. You know, you're wanting to understand more about yourself, your history, your ancestors, where they came from, and then you'll start finding some discrepancies potentially in the story we were told. But the beautiful thing is, the truths and the information that fills in the blanks and kind of corrects and answers some of the questions you have about the stories we were told, that information is now present. That information is now available. That information is now here. The biggest problem that we're having as a people is we've been told these stories for so long, and it's been passed down. Our parents told us what they believed and what they knew. And what has happened is, you know, they were getting their information from a particular source, right? That particular source we're not finding has told many lies over time. So once you come to that understanding that the source that we've been gaining our information from has a history of telling lies, now we have to question, do we want to continue to receive information from this particular source? Do we want to continue to believe every word that this source has given us over the years, especially when now we're in a time where we're starting to ask questions and raise eyebrows and find some untruths in some of the things that this main source has been telling us. So once you come to that understanding that this source has not been giving you truth throughout history, throughout time, throughout their existence, then we have to say, well, why should I continue to listen to this source if they do not have a history of telling the truth. Maybe I need to look somewhere else. And when you begin to do that, you'll find that a lot of the things that didn't make sense from this one main source all these years, there's somebody over here. Maybe you find them on YouTube. Maybe you find them on Instagram. Maybe you find it in a book. Maybe you find it through one of the elders in your community who always sit on the porch, who don't talk much because nobody talk to them, nobody bother them. Maybe you find in talking to these people, maybe you in talking to your grandparents, your great-grandparents if they're living, maybe you start to find some answers. Excuse me, y'all, when I get excited, my teeth start doing things. But maybe you start to find some answers to some of these questions that you've always had, some of the things that you were taught in school that you just had to go with it because that's what the teacher said and you couldn't ask questions. Or if you were like me, the person that always wanted to ask a question, you were made to look like you were the class clown. You were made to look like you were a disruptor of the class. You were put out in the hallway. You were sent to the office for asking questions that the teacher honestly just felt intimidated. The teacher honestly just didn't have the answers, but they couldn't say that because they're the teacher and they come from a history of feeling like you don't ask me no questions because I'm in control. You know, they didn't have an open mind to go with you and say, well, hey, I don't really know, but hey, let's look into this. Let's get to the bottom of this. So, you know, I was painted. I don't know if you were. I was painted as a class clown. Yeah, I was a class clown a lot of times. I was silly a lot of times, but I always questioned things. I couldn't just say, you can't just tell me that this is black and this is yellow, and I ain't say, well, how do you know this is black and how do you know this is yellow? You know, and you know, if the class laughed, Milton, get out of here. You know, every time they wouldn't even just seek, you know, to understand my question, and that was just a generic example that I gave. I don't think I ever really questioned, is this really black or this really yellow? I'm just saying some of the things that they would say, especially concerning history, I would be the one to be like, well, how were you able to do that? If it was this, then why would it do that? You know, so now that I'm older and I've grown and I've been able to actually research some of these things, not even intentionally sometimes, you know, as far as answering certain questions that I had as a kid, I didn't even remember asking that question as a kid, but just in my adulthood, now that I have learned certain things, it takes me back into my childhood, like, man, it's crazy. This reminds me of when this happened, you know what I'm saying? I remember when this happened and that happened, you know, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, all I'm saying is, y'all, if there are some things about this life that you have found is like, it just don't add up to you, you know, if you've been in that place where you're just like, something ain't right, this ain't enough, you know, I want more out of life, you know, these are some of the things and positions that can lead us to asking questions, that will lead us to like wanting to know and understand. And then if you first want to know and understand it, then you take a step to say, let me find out if this is going on. Let me find out if that is going on. And you step out there and you start to seek these things. I'm telling you, today you will be able to find this information because this information is here. This information is present. There are many people. Some of you might not even see me as that, you know, because I don't put myself on any type of pedestal in making these videos. All I'm saying is, I was not a person who initially made videos. I didn't feel I was a person that was bringing forth knowledge. I didn't feel I was a person that was bringing information. I was just a person that had, you know, my own feelings about things and questions about things. And, you know, in school, I wasn't allowed to ask questions, you know what I'm saying, with certain teachers, not all. I wasn't allowed to ask questions. So, you know, it puts you in a mindset of, never question things, never ask questions, because you were punished for it in school, and it trains your mind to not question things as an adult. So then you grow, and then you're like, y'all, I want y'all to see this man. I speak to him sometimes. Comes out here and my little thing. You can kind of see him over there. He comes out and feeds the birds, right? And I hollered at him because I used to feed the birds on my porch, but they they would make such a mess for the neighbors downstairs that it was just like, okay, I gotta stop doing this, because they will not just eat on the feeder and chill. They will. Birds are a mess if you ever sit and watch them. But anyway, my point is, you know, it conditions our minds to not question things, to not ask questions. And then as you become a citizen, as you become a working class adult, you are locked in this position of not asking questions. You don't ask questions. You just go with whatever they say go. This is what goes. Just do it. Don't you question nothing. And so, you know, having to get into a position where I begin to break free from that mindset, and I can question things now because I'm an adult. I'm free, you know, and I have the freedom to research things. We have internet. It's like, what are we using it for? You know what I'm saying? Are you using it to find things? You know, I mean, definitely you gotta utilize credible sources, but what are you using the internet for? What are you using access to books and libraries for? What are you using your relationships with your elder family members for? Are you gaining knowledge of your history to understand who you are and what role you play in this time? You know, and that's, you know, everybody not going to choose this path, and that's why it's only going to be certain people talking. But if you just simply search on a Google search or YouTube search currently, man, you will find that this information is present. There is somebody talking about what you're thinking about, the question you have about your history and your family and your past. Somebody else is talking about it, you know. So, you know, I'm somebody that you know personally that, hey, maybe all of my videos don't apply to you. Maybe all of my videos don't, you know, click for you. But maybe my videos bring up a related video over here that is directly what you're looking for, you know, or that brings you the information that you're looking for. Don't fear those videos. Don't fear this information. This information is here for us to know, because we need to know who we are, what character we are in this whole story, what role we play, and then we need to play our position. We need to play our role. We need to do our part to make sure that we reach that place that we are supposed to reach, you know. And this is something that even my Christian brothers and sisters can participate in, because a lot of times these are my friends who have some of the biggest fears with dealing with and confronting some of these things that I'm talking about, because we've been conditioned to not question it. We've been conditioned not to ask a question. So, you know, preferably somebody who knows me, who knows that I have a lot of love in my heart and I'm not a person who attacks and comes aggressively at you. If you hear it from me, to just say, hey, I'm not telling you to change your belief system or what you have believed your whole life. All I'm saying is that if you've been in this your entire life and you're still at the bottom, then at some point we got to ask a question. We got to ask some questions as to how, if I'm following the blueprint exactly the way that I was taught and told, why am I still at the bottom? When does the good times come? When does the time come where I'm living in wealth and abundance? Maybe somebody went and erased the real way that you reach wealth and abundance and wrote in another version, and that's what you're following, and that's why you're not achieving it. But if you're not willing to ask those questions, you may never find those answers. So anyway, I got to get in here to work, y'all. You know, I still got to do my part with this until it's time to move on from this, you know. And that time is soon approaching. I've been doing the work necessary to make sure that this is a temporary time here. Can't be permanent. There's so much more that I got to do. And like I said, I've been studying my history. I've been studying gang culture, you know, because I know that the next step that I have to take, and the next step that I'm going to be, the thing that I'm going to be stepping into, involves these gangs, you know, and being able to bring forth some information and knowledge to these gangs that has not been presented to them in the present state of gangs. There's some information that they need to know as to how the gangs need to be functioning in this time. It's not the time for gang versus gang. That time has played its part. It was never intended to be that anyway. The only reason that played out was because the gangs were infiltrated. But, you know, that's knowledge that has to be brought forth. And the only way you'll be able to do that is if you can relate to these people. You have to relate to the culture, the mindset of the people who are deeply involved. But they've been deeply involved in a culture and a system that was manipulated. It was not their original intent. It was not what they were founded and created to do. But these folks have lost their own history. Gang members have lost their own history. So they're fighting for a cause and they're standing on something that's not even in their history. Whose history are you standing on? Who are you really fighting for? Are you fighting for the elders and OGs of the gangs that you're affiliated with? Are you fighting for the cause that they created it for? Or are you fighting for a cause that was presented to you from an infiltrator? So that's the next phase of my journey, is beginning to deal with these young brothers involved in these gangs and really bringing them the true history, not the changed history and altered histories, they may not even really know their history. They may not even know the dates for sure and when they were created and started and why. You know, so being able to be someone who comes in peace and love. I have no, you know, one side that I'm affiliated with. I've always had relationships with all my people. So being a person that can bridge the gap, that I'm somebody that can present myself in the neighborhood and know they don't feel threatened by me, especially the OGs that know me, because they have had time and conversation and relationships with me to know where I stand and how I'm a man of peace. So, you know, I have the ability to enter into some of these communities and just have dialogue. Because see, the thing that, and this is the last thing, the thing that the enemy fears is this knowledge reaching the ears of these young gang members to teach them the truth. Because once they know the truth, them guns will no longer be aimed at one another. So that's the next phase of my journey, dealing with that, bringing truth and light to the gangs, you know what I'm saying, and bringing unity to the gangs. And I'm not going to be doing this alone, man. There's no way I could do this alone. And I know there are other organizations and other groups out here doing things, but I am going to have to establish what I'm doing first before I associate or affiliate with what anybody else is doing, because I don't know what everybody else's angle is. I don't know how everybody else is approaching this, and I'm not here to disrupt what they're doing. So it's you know, and I guess in what I'm saying is not that, okay, I'm gonna go over here and start this and then I'm gonna go speak to these people. What I'm saying is I'm first going to speak with and understand what these people are doing, what their game plans are, understanding theirs, so that I don't overstep and I don't create something that will disrupt what they're doing. But once I understand what they're doing, I already have a vision of what I'm doing. I just want to be certain of what they're doing. Then I come back to my thing and I can fine tune what I'm doing and make sure that what I'm doing doesn't counter or isn't counterproductive to what they're doing, but that it can be something that can work cooperatively, you know what I'm saying, at the same time. So yeah, I just said a lot. I know I said a lot, talking about a lot, but I'm just saying the main thing I want you to understand is that, y'all, we got to start asking questions. We got to be comfortable and confident in asking questions, and then in doing that, though, y'all, we got to be able to get answers. Go seek those answers, and the information that you're looking for or will be looking for, I'm letting you know that is present. It is here. There are so many elders that are speaking now, and I'm not an elder, you know, I'm 37, but hey, there's somebody that's listening to my voice that has been waiting to hear my voice. There's somebody who's sitting and watching, who even has a voice himself, who doesn't know it yet. But maybe I inspire them to find their voice, to know what they're here for, to know that it's time for them to stand and speak. We're gonna have to stand and speak in truth. The truth is spreading fast, and the more truth that spreads, the stronger we become, and the more we stand up against this evil that is here, that has corrupted and manipulated and infiltrated every movement, every desire that we have had to stand up for ourselves again. You know, so it's important that we break that slave mindset, but the only way we break the slave mindset is by breaking that the idea that knowledge is harmful. You know, we're going to have to gain some knowledge. We're going to have to get knowledge in order for us to break free. Look, now as soon as he walk away, the birds come in to eat. He brings a lot of food. He breaks up. He buys a big bag of food. It's probably about this big, and he just walks down this strip and pours all of it out. Then he comes back with bread, and he breaks all the bread up, like loaves of bread. He just breaks it up and puts it down in the strip so they can all come and eat. And he says that it's because he like it brings joy to this area. Like, I mean, just even the fact that he's thinking and talking on that level. And man, look at the birds are loving it, man. I wish I would show y'all, man, these birds. The only thing that's different, well, I won't go into that. It ain't about what's different, y'all. I ain't gonna go into that. I was just gonna say, man, my birds, they got so comfortable that they come while I'm out there. They didn't wait till I leave. You know what I'm saying? They come while I'm out there still and be kicking it and chilling with me. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's another thing. That's another thing. But yeah, y'all, man, I'm gonna get in here and get this job knocked out for the day, man. I appreciate y'all for listening this long, if you stayed this long and listened. But y'all, the information is present. You just gotta want it. You gotta seek it. And once you begin to seek it, man, all those answers will come to you. All the information will be brought to you, and your eyes will be open, and then you will understand what we're really up against and why it was so important to keep knowledge away from you. Because if you had the knowledge, you would have been stood up. But everything happens in God's time, and it's just time now that we stand up, and we are standing up all over this world, and you're seeing it. Just keep paying attention to the weather, keep paying attention to your news, and seeing how we're raised and up. All right, so peace and love. Talk to y'all soon.